We often try to control everything, worrying about the future, forcing outcomes, struggling against the flow of life. But doing so only makes our minds heavier and our hearts more exhausted. Stoic philosophy does not teach us to surrender or be passive. On the contrary, it opens a path that helps us free ourselves from unnecessary burdens. When we accept that some things are beyond our control, we can finally focus on what truly matters: our thoughts, our actions, and our responses to life. Imagine this: if a river tried to resist its own flow, would it still be a river? The same applies to us when we let go of the need for control. We allow the universe to work its magic. Everything comes and goes according to natural laws. We don't need to force anything, just flow with it. By practicing meditation and understanding the laws of the universe, we can experience a profound transformation in which anxiety dissolves and inner peace takes its place. In this video, we will explore 7 lessons from Stoicism that will help you relax, trust, and let life unfold naturally. Let's embark on this journey together. Lesson number 1: distinguish between what is within control and what is not. There are moments in life when we feel like we are swimming against a rushing current, being swept away by things beyond our control. Work, relationships, or even unexpected events can make us anxious as we struggle to take control of things that were never ours to command in the first place. But if we take a moment to pause and observe in stillness, we will realize that happiness does not come from controlling everything, but from accepting and focusing on what we can change. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "Some things are up to us, and some are not up to us." This short statement encapsulates one of the core principles of Stoicism, a philosophy that helps us find peace in life. If we can distinguish what is within our power and what is not, we will stop wasting energy on futile matters and instead live a lighter, more serene life. Consider the story of Eliud Kipchoge, the greatest marathon runner in history. In 2019, he set a record by becoming the first person to complete the 42.195 kilometers distance in under 2 hours. But what many people don't know is that his achievement wasn't just about speed and extraordinary physical endurance. Kipchoge also possessed an unbreakable mindset, a mental resilience that made him nearly invincible in many races. Kipchoge faced unfavorable weather, strong winds, or less than ideal temperatures. But instead of worrying about things beyond his control, he focused on his breathing, each stride, and everything he could control. And the result, he didn't just win on the racetrack, he won in his way of thinking. Kipchoge's story powerfully illustrates Stoic philosophy. Instead of worrying about things beyond our reach, we should focus on what we can control. Worrying about the weather won't stop the rain, and stressing about exam results won't guarantee higher scores, but deliberate action. Practicing, preparing, and mastering one's mindset can change the game. So why do we so often fall into the trap of trying to control meaningless things? Because humans fear uncertainty. We crave guaranteed outcomes and absolute certainty. But the truth is, life doesn't work that way. If we allow our minds to be consumed by things we cannot change, we are shackling ourselves with unnecessary anxiety. True freedom comes only when we learn to let go. How can we apply this lesson to our daily lives? When faced with a challenge, ask yourself, can I change this? If yes, what actions can I take? If not, can I change the way I respond to it? Accepting the reality that some things are beyond our control is the first step toward achieving a state of ataxia, the inner tranquility that Stoic philosophers aspired to. This does not mean passivity or indifference, but rather a conscious choice to invest energy in the right places in ourselves, our attitudes, and our actions. This is the key to living freely, living with strength, without being dragged down by unavoidable adversity. Once you grasp this lesson, you will realize that trusting the flow of the universe does not mean being passive, but rather taking smart, deliberate action in the areas where you do have control. But life is not just about distinguishing what is within our control. There will be moments when, despite our best efforts, things still do not go as planned. When that happens, how do we keep moving forward without losing heart? The next lesson will introduce a fresh perspective on how Stoic philosophers confronted adversity. No resistance, no complaints, just a calm and accepting heart. If you've ever felt that life is unfair, or that you've given your all but still haven't achieved what you wanted, then the next lesson will be the key to releasing the burdens in your mind. Stay tuned to explore one of the most powerful ideas of Stoicism. Lesson number 2, accept life as it comes. Life is an endless stream, constantly changing, and sometimes it doesn't unfold the way we expect. A perfect plan can collapse in an instant, a door we have long hoped for may slam shut without warning, and there are times when, despite our best efforts, we still stumble. But is that truly a bad thing, or is it simply the way the universe operates according to its own laws? Stoics do not resist the flow of life, they merge with it. They understand that resisting reality only brings suffering, while accepting it brings freedom. Friedrich Nietzsche, a modern philosopher, deeply influenced by Stoicism, borrowed a powerful concept from them. Arya Fati, the love of one's fate. Arya Fati is not merely about accepting destiny. It is an active attitude, loving even the undesirable events, seeing them as an inseparable part of the journey, not avoiding them, but using them for growth. Seneca, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, once said, "Fate leads the willing and drags along the reluctant." This is not just a reminder, it is a principle for life. When we resist what happens, we only drain our own energy. But if we learn to embrace it, we can transform adversity into opportunity, turn pain into strength, and redefine life on our own terms. Imagine a young and ambitious entrepreneur who pours his heart and soul into his first startup. He has a perfect plan, a clear vision, and an unshakable belief that he will succeed. But then life doesn't go as planned, unforeseen risks, strategic mistakes, or simply an unresponsive market. All these factors lead to a painful outcome: failure. At first, this failure feels like a direct punch to the face. He is confused, tormented, wondering why all his efforts have led to nothing. But instead of letting disappointment consume him, he starts to reflect. He realizes what he could have done better, the gaps in his thinking, and the invaluable lessons that only failure could teach. And then he rises again, wiser and more mature. This is not a fictional story. It is the real story of Elon Musk, who once failed with his first company, Zip2, but instead of giving up, he went on to build PayPal, Tesla, SpaceX, and many other groundbreaking technology companies. If Musk had chosen despair, the world would never have seen the technological revolutions he brought. But he practiced amor fati, turning failure into fuel for growth. Embracing life does not mean passive acceptance. It is not about resignation or giving up. On the contrary, it is one of the most powerful forms of control that a person can possess. The ability to dictate how we respond to everything. You may not be able to control what happens to you, but you can always control how you perceive and confront it. A misfortune can be a disaster, or it can be a new beginning. It depends on how you choose to see it in life. Each person has their own chapters filled with ups and downs, moments of glory and times of defeat. But instead of blaming fate, consider this. Every chapter has its reason for existing, and all of them together shape your complete story. If there is something you are resisting right now, ask yourself, can I see this in a different way? If there is a failure that haunts you, remind yourself, What lesson can this teach me? This is the Stoic mindset, not about avoiding suffering, but learning to use it as a tool for growth. And if today you feel stuck or lost, leave a comment below this video as a commitment to living a positive life practice. Lesson number 3. Live in the present. Don't worry too much about the future. Are you exhausted from constantly dwelling on the past or worrying about the future? Do you find yourself missing out on precious moments because your mind is preoccupied with regrets and fears? It's time to start living in the present. Letting go of mistakes and worries about what is yet to come can be challenging, but it is essential for a happier and more fulfilling life. Stoicism has long taught us a simple yet powerful truth. Only the present truly belongs to you. Marcus Aurelius, the great philosopher emperor, once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. What does this mean? It means that worrying about the past or the future does not give you control over your life. On the contrary, it only makes you a slave to things that cannot be changed or have not yet happened. Imagine you are driving on a busy road. If your mind is constantly fixated on the mistake you made at the previous intersection, or worrying about whether there will be an accident ahead, if you have enough fuel to continue, or if an unexpected situation might arise, can you drive safely? Of course not. When you are not focused on the road right in front of you, you can easily lose control. Life is the same. You cannot live well if you are obsessed with the past or fearful of the future. Marcus Aurelius also wrote in Meditations, "Do not waste what remains of your life in speculating about your neighbors, unless with a view to some mutual benefit." He reminds us that everything is passing quickly. The past has turned to dust. The future remains a mystery. If you keep chasing both, you will lose. The only thing you truly have this moment. Why do people get trapped in the past or the future? Because we want to control things beyond our reach. We regret past mistakes and wish we had done things differently. But no matter how many times you think about what happened, you cannot change it. We worry about what's ahead, wondering if we will succeed, if we will fail, or if something bad will happen. Yet, no matter how much we worry, the future remains unpredictable. Stoics believe that we have only one duty: to master the present. Focus on what we can control and let go of what is beyond our reach. Epictetus once said, "Happiness and freedom begin with a clear understanding of one principle. Some things are within our control and some things are not." This means that if you truly want peace, you must learn to invest your energy only in the present. But how can you live in the present? Start by practicing observation instead of reaction. When you feel regret about the past, ask yourself, does this thought help me change anything? If not, let it go. When you feel anxious about the future, ask yourself, what can I do right now to prepare best? If there's something you can do it immediately. If not, let it go. True freedom does not come from controlling the future, but from releasing your worries about it. When you live in the present, you feel lighter, less stressed, and most importantly, you don't miss out on your life when you fully focus on each moment. You realize that you are living completely without being dragged by the past or chained by the future. Try something right now. Take a deep breath. Look around. You feel the life happening in this very moment. Nothing is more important than this. Life is not what has passed, nor what is yet to come. It is now, and you have a choice. To live fully in the present, or to waste it on things that cannot be changed. The decision is yours. Lesson number 4. Don't let your emotions control you. Have you ever said something in anger that you later regretted? Have you ever let fear stop you from taking a risk that could have truly benefited you? If so, you are not alone. Emotions are powerful. Your mood determines how you interact with people, how much you spend, how you face challenges, and how you use your time. Being able to control your emotions will make you mentally stronger. Fortunately, anyone can get better at regulating their emotions like any other skill. Managing emotions requires practice and dedication. Stoic philosophy does not teach us to suppress or deny emotions. It does not ask us to become emotionless beings without suffering, anger, or fear. On the contrary, Stoicism teaches that emotions are natural, but how we respond to them is what truly matters. Epictetus, one of the great Stoic philosophers, once said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. You cannot control everything in life. There will be situations beyond your reach, and there will be people who offend, betray, or hurt you, but how you react to those things is within your power. You can let your emotions explode, making the situation worse, or you can choose composure. Stand firm and not allow yourself to be swept away by the storm of emotions. Imagine you are in an important meeting. You have worked hard on this project, but suddenly a colleague deliberately downplays your efforts in front of everyone. A wave of anger rises within you. You want to immediately respond to say something to defend yourself, but pause for a second. If you react instantly in anger, are you sure your words will help, or will they just make you appear out of control while your colleague achieves their goal? Your choices are let anger control you and damage your own image. Take a deep breath, stay calm, and respond with confidence and reason. If you choose the second option, not only do you catch your opponent off guard, but you also demonstrate composure and determination. Truly strong people do not need to shout to assert their worth. Powerful silence, a steadfast gaze, and calm words are the true signs of strength. Martin Luther King Jr. was not only a civil rights activist, but also a symbol of composure and patience in the face of hatred in the 1960s, as the movement for racial equality in the U.S. intensified. King and his supporters continuously faced discrimination, threats, and even physical violence. His house was bombed. He was arrested multiple times, and he endured relentless attacks. Yet he never let anger control him. He understood that responding to hatred with hatred would only make things worse. In a famous speech, he said, "Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that." King believed that composure was true strength. He did not let negative emotions control him, but instead pursued justice with compassion and determination. There is a simple but powerful truth. When you control your emotions, you control your life. This world is full of things that can make you angry, anxious, or afraid. But if you let yourself react impulsively to everything, you will always feel unstable. You will be like a ship drifting aimlessly in rough seas without direction, without stability. On the other hand, when you learn to observe your emotions without letting them control you, you become the master of yourself. You are no longer a puppet of circumstances or of those who try to provoke you. You stand firm in the storm, calm and free. So the next time you feel anger, anxiety, or fear rising, remember, you have a choice. No one can force you to be angry. No one can make you afraid unless you allow them to. You can choose composure, clarity, and determination, and that is true strength. Lesson number 5. Seek simplicity and simplify life. Life is rarely simple in reality. Most of the time life is filled with overwhelming and busy seasons, stacked work pressures, complex relationships, and an endless influx of information leave us feeling trapped in a never-ending whirlwind. So how can we cope and strive for a simpler way of living when everything around us seems to be moving at a frantic, chaotic pace? The answer lies in our own choices. We can choose to let go of what is unnecessary, learn to simplify our lives, and seek inner peace. Seneca, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, once said, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor. We often think of wealth as having more: a bigger house, a luxurious car, or a wardrobe filled with trendy outfits. But the truth is, real wealth does not come from accumulation. It comes from needing less. When we constantly chase after new things, always wanting more, we never feel satisfied. At that point, our own minds become a prison. Always craving, always worrying, and never at peace. Look at modern life. We are bombarded with too many choices, too much information, and too many things we believe we need. Every day we spend hours on our phones, drawn into unimportant news, scrolling through hundreds of social media posts only to feel emptier and more exhausted. Each morning we open our closets, stare at dozens of outfits, yet feel like we have nothing to wear. We step into the kitchen and feel stressed, looking at the pantry shelves overflowing with clutter. These seemingly small things actually contribute to unnecessary mental fatigue in our daily lives. Simplicity does not mean giving up everything and living like a hermit. Simplicity is about learning to keep what truly matters and letting go of the things that weigh us down. This can start with small but meaningful changes. If social media is taking up too much of your time and distracting you, set time limits for phone usage. Try turning off notifications, putting your phone away an hour before bed, or finding an accountability partner to help control this habit. If you feel stressed every time you open your wardrobe because of too many choices, yet nothing feels right, maybe it's time for a decluttering session. Keep only the clothes that truly suit you, make you feel comfortable, and boost your confidence. If your kitchen has become a source of chaos, start by streamlining what you store. Get rid of unnecessary food items. Keep your space tidy and create an environment that makes you feel at ease whenever you step in. When we begin practicing a simple lifestyle, something magical happens. We feel lighter, we have more time, and our minds become clearer. Suddenly, we are no longer trapped in meaningless choices. Instead, we can focus on what truly matters: meaningful work, valuable relationships, and memorable experiences. Stoic philosophy is not a call to renounce everything, but a reminder to reclaim freedom from within. When we are no longer bound by endless desires, we learn to live with gratitude and embrace each moment fully. Finally, ask yourself, what in my life truly adds value and what is merely dragging me down? If there was one thing you could let go of today to make your life simpler and more peaceful, what would it be? Share your thoughts in the comments. I would love to hear your perspective on this topic. Are you applying the philosophy of simple living in your own life? If so, what has changed for you? Leave your thoughts below. Lesson number 6. Look at all problems from a broader perspective. With fast developing projects and initiatives, it's easy to get caught up in the pace. Viewing problems solely from your own perspective can make them seem larger and more complex. But try looking from a different angle, a broader, more comprehensive perspective, and you'll realize there are countless details and new opportunities to solve them. Nothing is too difficult if you know how to find the right path. This also applies to the challenges you face in life. Keep searching for the right solutions, expand your perspective, and the best choice will naturally reveal itself. But the question is, are you truly capable of seeing problems from multiple perspectives? What happens around us, whether chaotic or unjust, is under no obligation to align with our expectations. We cannot control the world, but we can control how we perceive it. If you only look at a problem from a narrow angle, it'll always appear to be a massive obstacle. But if you take a step back and observe it from a broader perspective, even from the viewpoint of the universe, you'll see that nothing is too serious. Let's talk about Bruno's story. He is a young artist with a burning passion for creativity. He spent months completing a major artwork, a painting he believed would be the masterpiece that elevated his name to new heights. When the exhibition took place, his painting garnered attention, but not in the way he had hoped. Critics didn't appreciate the work. Some even suggested that he had taken the wrong direction. Bruno was devastated. He felt as if all his efforts had gone to waste, that he had failed. In the days that followed, Bruno saw nothing but disappointment. He couldn't think beyond the harsh criticism. He was trapped in negativity. But then an old friend, a more experienced artist, said to him, "Try thinking about this 10 years from now. Do you really think these critiques will still matter?" For the first time, Bruno paused and reflected. 10 years from now, he would no longer be a young artist seeking recognition. He would have gained more experience and created many more works. Would one critique from a single exhibition truly define him, or was it just a small moment in a long journey? After looking at it this way, Bruno realized that he had made the problem bigger than it actually was, simply because he had been viewing it from too narrow a perspective. We often forget a simple truth. We are just a tiny part of this vast universe. Daily stress, fears, and disappointments may seem overwhelming in the moment, but when you look at them in the grand scheme of things, they are nothing more than small ripples in an endless ocean. A useful practice from Stoic philosophy is to imagine yourself looking down at Earth from space. When you do this, you realize that no matter how big your problem seems, it is just a tiny event. In the flow of time, ask yourself, will this problem still matter? 5 years from now, if I were an alien looking down on Earth, would I see this as something worth worrying about in the scale of the universe? Does this truly have any significance? Once you can place your problems in a larger context, they lose the power they once had over you. You are no longer a victim of your emotions. You become an observer of them. Seeing problems from a broader perspective does not mean you stop taking action. Stoicism does not encourage passivity. On the contrary, you must act, but without being trapped by expectations and outcomes. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Just that you do the right thing." You have learned to see every issue from a wider perspective. But what happens if you are still affected by the results? How can you take strong action without falling into disappointment when things don't go as expected? That is the final lesson. Act, but do not clinging too tightly to the outcome, and this will forever change the way you approach life. Lesson number 7, take action. But don't be too attached to the results. You are starting a new project or a new workout plan, and it feels like uncharted territory, full of uncertainties. You doubt whether you can succeed, and as a result, you are stressing out, doing everything you can to ensure things go as you hope. Stress, fear, doubt. All of these emotions stem from attachment to the outcome, to how things will turn out. We want to lose weight and be healthy, the result of exercise, or to excel in our new project and make others think we are amazing. But perhaps we can admit that no matter how hard we try, there are elements beyond our control. You can work out hard, but still not reach the ideal weight you desire. You could spend months planning a project, but in the end, the result isn't as expected, and it is precisely this excessive attachment to the outcome that causes anxiety, disappointment, and even leads to giving up. Stoic philosophy offers a different mindset. Act wholeheartedly, but don't let the outcome control you. Do not seek for things to happen the way you want them to. Rather wish that what happens happen the way it happens, then you will be happy. Epictetus. Pause and reflect on this quote. We often want things to happen the way we expect. We plan, set expectations, and believe that if we put in enough effort, the world will align with our desires. But if we can transform our desire from wanting to control the outcome to accepting whatever happens, we will find peace. In other words, happiness doesn't come from things happening as we expect them, but from accepting that whatever happens is part of life. So how can we practice this? Imagine you are preparing for an important presentation. You have spent hours researching, practicing, and preparing thoroughly, but when you stand before the audience, you realize not everything is within your control. Maybe the sound system malfunctions. Maybe someone in the audience appears uninterested. Maybe you accidentally forget an important point, and at that moment, if you are too attached to the outcome, wanting everything to be perfect, wanting everyone to be impressed by your presentation, you will feel stressed, anxious, even lose your composure. But if you accept that I've done my best, and whatever happens, let it happen, you will have a completely different mindset. You will focus on experiencing the moment, on learning, rather than getting caught up in fear of an outcome you cannot fully control. This is the difference between acting with freedom and acting in anxiety. Stoics never say we should not put in effort. They do not advise us to give up or do things half-heartedly. On the contrary, they emphasize that we must act with the highest dedication, but not let the outcome have power over our emotions and self-worth. The best athletes in the world do not just train hard. They also understand that victory does not always come. A tennis player might train for months, but still lose an important match. An athlete might be in top form, but bad weather can affect their performance. But this doesn't diminish their value because they don't define themselves solely based on the result. They understand that victory is not just about achieving a specific result, but about giving their all without regret. This also applies to your life. If you are starting a new business, pour your heart into it, but don't let failure break you. If you are learning a new skill, enjoy the process instead of obsessing over becoming the best. If you are trying to improve yourself, focus on daily growth instead of worrying that you can't meet a certain standard. Stoicism teaches that true freedom comes from mastering oneself, not controlling circumstances. When you become too attached to the outcome, you give control of your emotions to things outside of you, things you cannot control. But when you focus on action, on the process, you regain that control. You are no longer swept away by anxiety, fear, or disappointment. You are simply living, striving, and enjoying each moment of the journey. So the next time you start something new, whether it's a project, a workout plan, or a personal goal, remember, act with all your heart, but don't let the outcome define you. Relax, trust yourself, and let the universe do its part to conclude. Stoic philosophy reminds us of the importance of relaxing, trusting, and letting the universe operate naturally in a life filled with uncertainties and challenges. Accepting that there are things we cannot control is one of the key factors in maintaining inner peace. We can only control how we react to events, and that is the core of living a life free from anxiety. When we let go of worries and trust in the natural process of the universe, we will find ourselves becoming much more peaceful and free. So what do you think about this Stoic philosophy? Have you ever applied these principles to your life? Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to continue exploring valuable lessons from Stoic philosophy with us. Be sure to stay tuned for the next video we have prepared for you, and don't miss out on more exciting content to come. There are no rules, no interruptions, and you have total authority when you live alone. But carelessness can lead to poor habits, loneliness, and a loss of potential when you have too much freedom, according to the Stoics. The key to strength is self-awareness and discipline. Ask yourself, are you making the most of your time alone, or are you sabotaging your progress? This video will go over 11 typical blunders that people make when they live alone, along with some tips on how to avoid them. Be careful not to fall into these traps by staying still. If you want to learn how to master yourself before you can master life, then you should subscribe. Alright, then let's get started. Number 1. Not setting a routine, not having a schedule is one of the worst things you can do when you live alone. At first, the idea of having complete freedom, getting up whenever you want, making your own plans on the spot, and going with the flow may seem freeing. But without framework, that freedom quickly turns into a waste of time, a lack of productivity, and even a feeling that nothing is worth doing. The Stoics put a lot of value on self-control and discipline because they knew that real freedom doesn't come from doing whatever you want at the moment. It comes from being in charge of your actions and habits. No man is free who is not master of himself, said Epictetus, and a pattern is the best way to get better at controlling yourself. If you don't plan your day, time will slip away from you without you noticing. When you wake up, you don't do anything useful to start the day. Instead, you mindlessly scroll through your phone for an hour. You keep telling yourself you'll get to work soon, but something keeps pulling your attention away. Before you know it, the day is almost over, and you have no idea where the time went. This kind of drift can't happen with a schedule. It keeps you from having to make decisions you don't need to, and gives your day a sense of order. In Meditations, Marcus Aurelius often told himself to get up every morning with a plan at dawn. When you can't get out of bed, he wrote, "Tell yourself I have to go to work as a person. What do I have to be upset about if I do what I was born to do?" He knew that without order and a disciplined start, the mind could easily become lazy, even when he was Emperor of Rome. Set an alarm for the same time every day to build a strong habit. When you live by yourself, no one will wake you up to remind you to do something. So you have to remember to stick to a plan. When you wake up at different times, every day it throws off your internal clock and makes you feel tired. Setting a regular wake-up time, on the other hand, teaches your body and mind for stability and energy. Step 2 is to make a morning routine that has a reason. Instead of checking your phone first thing in the morning, do something that grounds you, like meditation, stretching, writing in a notebook, or reading something important. Marcus Aurelius would write comments every morning to get his mind ready for the day. You can do the same thing by writing down your thoughts, plans, or just goals for what you want to achieve. Plan your work or daily tasks once you know what you are going to do in the morning. Seneca once said, "No wind is good for a man who doesn't know which port he sails." That is, if you don't have a clear goal, you'll be thrown around by urges and distractions. Pick out the day's most important job and do it first. This gets things moving and makes everything else seem easy. Focus on deep work instead of multitasking by giving projects or tasks time that you can work on them without interruptions. The Stoics said that you should be fully present in everything you do, so give each job your full attention and don't jump from one thing to another. It's not just about work, though. A good routine also has to do with balance. Seneca warned about the risks of working too hard and getting burned out. He said, "The mind must be given relaxation. It'll rise stronger and sharper after a good break." It's just as important to plan breaks as it is to plan chores. Being alone means you have to choose to take breaks from work, go for a walk, stretch, or just rest without feeling bad about it. A practice for winding down in the evening is just as important. Your morning sets the tone for the day, and your evening sets the tone for how well you sleep. When the day was over, Marcus Aurelius would think about what he had done and how he could have done better. Self-examination like this helps you grow and keeps you from getting stuck in bad habits. When you live with other people, their routines affect yours. But when you live by yourself, no one can hold you responsible. You don't have anyone telling you to get up on time, do your work, or take care of yourself. This is where a lot of people get into bad habits, like staying up late, skipping meals, putting things off, or distancing themselves. What's worse is that these habits form so slowly that you don't even notice them until they're normal. The Stoics teach us that following rules is not a punishment, but a way to get free. Having a set schedule not only helps you get more done, but it also calms you down. When you wake up, you know exactly what needs to be done. This takes away all the stress and doubt. You are in charge of your time and don't let it slip away. The most important thing is that you show yourself that you are in charge of your life, not your feelings, not your activities, and not the day's events. Pay attention to this. If you make a habit that helps you reach your goals, you'll not only save time, but your whole life will change. Number 2, ignoring personal safety. When no one is around to warn you, it's easy to forget about your own safety. When you live alone, it may not seem important to lock your doors or check your smoke alarms, but they are. Marcus Aurelius said the thing that stops you from acting moves you toward action. What gets in the way turns into the way. This means that you should deal with problems like ignoring your safety, because getting past them can make you more determined. Make sure your home is safe. Get good locks. Make sure your home is well lit and keep emergency supplies close by. You can't just hope for safety. You have to do something about it. It's up to you to keep yourself safe when you live alone. Not anyone is there to double check. The door is locked at night. Hear a strange sound outside or warn you to be careful. That's why you need to care about your own safety. The Stoics thought that people should get ready for the worst so that they could deal with problems calmly and successfully. Seneca said a man is not afraid of the storm if he has already prepared his ship. The same rule applies to your home. If you get ready, you won't have to live in fear or worry. Start with easy things. Make sure that all of the doors, windows, and even the back entrance are locked securely. You might think, I live in a safe neighborhood. Nothing will happen. But where you live isn't the only thing that makes you safe. It has to do with lowering chances no matter what. Put a security camera or a peephole on your front door. A simple camera or video doorbell can keep people from coming in. Keep your apartment door locked at all times. If you live in an apartment, if the building's front door is locked, that doesn't mean your unit is safe. Another important part of defense is lighting. A dark house makes it look like no one is there, which makes it an easy target. Make sure that your area is well lit, especially the entrances, halls, and paths. Motion sensor lights outside your house can be a good way to keep annoying people away. Use timers or smart lamps to keep lights on at certain times inside to make it look like someone is there even when you are not. Fire. Safety is another important safety issue that is often forgotten. Being careless is easy when you live alone. You might forget to test smoke monitors, leave the stove on, or overload the outlets, but not taking care of these things can lead to bad things. Make it a habit to regularly test your carbon monoxide and smoke alarms. Put a fire extinguisher somewhere easy to reach and learn how to use it. Keep an eye on candles and open fires at all times, and don't leave the stove while something is cooking. Being ready for an emergency is just as important as not having one. You need to know what to do in case of an emergency, like a break in a fire or even a medical crisis. Keep important things like a flashlight, batteries, first aid kits, and bottled water in an emergency bag. You should keep emergency contacts on your phone, but you should also write them down somewhere easy to find in case you lose or break your phone. If you live in a place where natural disasters are common, you should know the risks and be ready for them. Know the best places in your home and have a plan for how to get out of there in case of an emergency. Aside from keeping your home safe, be careful about what you share online. Sharing that you live alone, your location, or real-time updates while you are away can make you a target. It's easy to post about your life without thinking. The Stoics knew how important it was to keep things private. Sometimes being quiet makes you safer when giving out too much information to strangers. Be careful about who knows your address. Living in fear is not the point. Living with awareness is living alone gives you a lot of freedom, but freedom without duty is dangerous. Marcus Aurelius taught that every problem is a chance to get better. Safety measures shouldn't be seen as fear or extra work. Instead, they should be seen as a way to get ready and learn to rely on yourself. You'll feel safer and more confident in your own place if your foundation is strong. Number 3, letting the house get messy. It's easy to put things away after a long day and tell yourself you'll clean up tomorrow, but this can quickly become a crowded space that makes you feel bad about your mental health. Seneca said a home is not a place, it is a feeling. How we take care of our surroundings affects how we feel when we are in them. Pick up after yourself every day for a short time. It doesn't have to be a deep clean. Just make sure you clean up after yourself. If you live alone, your surroundings is more important than ever. A clean home makes you feel good. Your house shows what's on your mind. Not only does your room get cluttered when you let dishes pile up, laundry pile up, and other things take over, but so does your mental health. The Stoics knew that chaos in the outside world often leads to trouble inside. If the things around you are not in order, your thoughts will also be jumbled. The words of Seneca tell us that a house is more than just 4 walls. It's the atmosphere we make inside it. That environment has a direct effect on our ability to concentrate, our mood, and our health as a whole. It starts out small. By the end of the week, there will be a whole stack of dishes in the sink, instead of just one by accident. A few clothes on a chair become a place to store things. You won't even realize it until your space feels too big and you keep putting off cleaning. This is why it's important to do upkeep every day. No need to do a deep clean every day, but it does help to clear out your space every so often. Every morning, make your bed, and every night wash your dishes and put things back where they belong. Don't let mess pile up. A messy home can also make you feel like you're not moving forward. The more stuff there is around you, the harder it is to think straight and act. Marcus Aurelius wrote a lot about getting rid of things that aren't important and focused on what is. If you seek tranquility, do less, or rather do what's essential. He wrote in Meditations. This also goes for your living area. Your home will feel more peaceful if you get rid of things that aren't needed. If you live alone, no one will clean up after you or hold you responsible. This is why making it a habit to keep things in order is so important. Make an easy cleaning schedule instead of waiting for things to get out of hand. Pick up after yourself every day for 5 to 10 minutes. Plan to do a deeper clean once a week. This means you should dust wipe down surfaces and take out the trash. By making small, regular changes, you can keep your room from getting too big. Your home should be more than just clean. It should also be a place that makes you feel good. Look around you and ask yourself, does my environment make me feel calm or stressed? It'll slowly drain your energy if your area feels crowded, disorganized, or ignored. But if it's clean, well-kept, and full of things that make you feel calm, it can be a real place to unwind and concentrate. The Stoics felt that life should be simple, not just in how they thought about it. Having fewer things and taking good care of the ones you do have gives you a sense of order and gratitude. A clear space helps you think clearly when everything is in its place. You can concentrate on what's important without being distracted. There's no need to be proud of how your living place looks. Be proud of how it makes you feel. You have to be self-disciplined to live alone, and keeping your space clean is a daily reflection that you are in charge of your own life. Number 4, skipping social interactions. When you live alone, it's easy to shut yourself off. But being alone for a long time can quickly hurt your mental health. Even though the Stoics pushed for inner peace, They knew that society was important. The ancient Greek philosopher Epictetus said we were born to work together like feet, hands, and eyes. Even though you might not be with other people, it's still important to stay in touch. Don't lose touch with your friends. You can call or message friends, family, or even people you just know to let them know you are thinking of them. Keeping in touch with other people keeps you stable and in touch with the world outside your four walls. When you live alone, it's simple to tell yourself that being alone is just how things are. At first, it might even feel good to have your own room and not have to deal with anyone else. On the other hand, if you are not careful, that peace and quiet can slowly turn into loneliness. The Stoics believed in being self-sufficient, but they never pushed for being completely cut off from other people. The ideas of Epictetus tell us that people are meant to interact with each other and be a part of something bigger than themselves. You need deep ties to keep your mind and emotions in check, no matter how independent you are. If you skip social contacts, you might not notice the effects right away, which is a bad thing. You might feel fine for a few days at first. After a week, you realize you haven't talked to anyone other than a quick text. Your world starts to get smaller very quickly. When you spend too much time alone, talking to other people starts to feel like work instead of something that comes naturally. You begin to tell yourself that you want to be alone all the time, but the truth is that you've just stopped connecting with other people. Man was made to work together, wrote Marcus Aurelius. Even though he was ruler and had a lot of duties, he knew how important it was to connect with other people. Stoics knew that connections like friendships, family ties, and even casual chats keep us interested in life. They help us see things in a new way, make us think, and tell us that we are a part of a bigger world. If you pull away too much, your mind starts to focus on yourself, and your thoughts can get out of hand. It gets harder to deal with small problems because you don't get the support you need from other people. Make getting together with other people a goal to avoid becoming lonely. You don't have to be the friendliest person in the room or force yourself to be in big groups, but you should try to stay in touch to keep those relationships strong. All you need is a quick phone call, text or chat with a neighbor, a friend, or a loved one. Make time for social activities, even if it's just getting coffee with a friend or joining a neighborhood group of people who like the same things you do. When you can't always meet in person, use technology to your advantage. Video chats, online groups, and even social media can help people connect with each other. Having people around you who inspire and push you is another important part of social well-being. Seneca wrote, "Associate with those who will make a better man of you." This means that you should avoid spending time with people who bring out your worst traits. Welcome people who can help you get better. Think carefully about the ties you keep up. What matters is not how many people you have in your life, but how well you get along with them. Time for the people who make you feel good, push you to grow, and help you see the bigger picture. Finally, keep in mind that socializing isn't just about getting something. It's also about giving something. Being helpful to other people is one of the fastest ways to get out of being alone. Give your time, help someone when they need it, or just be there for a friend who is having a hard time. Being involved in the world will make you feel more linked. Even though it can be great to live alone, you should never cut yourself off from other people. Connecting with other people is what keeps our minds sharp, our emotions in check, and our spirits full. Even if being alone seems like a good thing, don't let it become a trap. Keep in touch, reach out, and keep in mind that life is meant to be shared. Number 5, neglecting your finances. Taking care of your money is even more important when you live alone. It is easy to let things slip when you don't have anyone else to lean on. Stoics thought that people should live in balance, stay away from excess, and focus on what's important. It was Seneca who reportedly said, Wealth is not having many things, but having few wants. Keep track of what you spend, make a budget, and set aside some money every month. Make sure you pay your bills on time and don't spend money you don't need to. Being responsible with your money will help you feel like you are in charge of your life, not your bills. It depends on how you handle your money, whether it gives you freedom or stress. Nobody can help you out financially if you get sick or hurt when you live alone. Not even a neighbor or family member. You have to pay all the bills, make all the financial decisions, and pay all the expenses. Still, a lot of people don't take care of their money, either by spending too much, not planning ahead, or avoiding possible risks. The Stoics believed in being independent, being moderate, and being ready for anything. These are all important things to keep in mind when handling money. Seneca's wise words remind us that real wealth isn't having more but wanting less. You get back control of your money when you let go of wants that aren't important and focus on what does. You can become more disciplined in this area if you live alone, but only if you really do it. Start by keeping track of what you spend. There are times when people don't even know how much money they waste until they see it. Everyday costs like coffee takeout and membership services can add up fast. Whether it's a notebook, an app for budgeting, or something else, make a method that works for you. Being aware is key. It is impossible to handle your money well. If you don't know where it is going next, make a spending plan and follow it. The Stoics said that we should only worry about things we can manage. You can't change the market bills that come up out of the blue or emergencies, but you can change how much you spend and save, keep your wants and needs. Separate things like rent, electricity, and food are necessary expensive meals, last-minute purchases, and high-end goods, not really, but that doesn't mean you should never have fun. Being responsible now will save you money problems later. Not having an emergency fund is one of the worst things people do when they live alone. Life is hard to plan for. You could lose your job, your car could break down, or you could have to pay for medical bills out of the blue. The Stoics were very good at pre-med malorum, which means figuring out problems before they happen. If you don't have a safety net and live from salary to paycheck, one unexpected cost could make your whole life a mess. Try to put away enough money for 3 to 6 months worth of bills in a different account that you don't touch unless you have to on time. Pay your bills. Not meeting due dates may sound easy, but a lot of people do it, which causes late fees, higher interest rates, and extra stress. If you can set up automatic payments or set up notes to help you stay on track to stay ahead, not fall behind, is the goal. Taking care of your money the right way gives you peace of mind that your future is safe. Lastly, don't let your living go up. Although you may get a raise or have extra money, that doesn't mean you should spend more. Many people make the mistake of improving their lives every time they get more money by getting a better apartment, clothes, and food. But the only way to be truly financially secure is to live below your means and not overextend yourself to keep up appearances. Muons Rufus, a Stoic teacher, told his students to live a simple life and pay attention to what's important. He knew that being responsible with his money wasn't just about money. It was also about freedom. When you manage your money, you don't get stuck in debt, worry about your bills, or want more all the time. It's now possible for you to live a meaningful life without having to worry about money. Money shouldn't rule your life. It should be used to help you. Take charge, make a plan, and follow the Stoic way of being financially independent. Number 6, ignoring mental health. When you live alone, you are your own friend. When it comes to your mental health, when you don't have someone living with you to check on you, it's easy to forget about your mental health. It was important for the Stoics to take care of both the body and the mind. It was Marcus Aurelius who said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." Take care of your mental health. Take some time to think, relax, and pay attention to how you feel. If you need help, ask for it. Taking care of your mental health is an important part of having a good life. Living alone can give you a lot of freedom, but it also means you are fully responsible for your own mental health. It's easy to forget about your mental health when no one is around to check in on you or be a comforting presence. This is especially true if you get busy with the demands and tasks of daily life. The Stoics, on the other hand, knew how very important it was to find inner peace. They didn't just work on mental control, they also worked on physical discipline. In Meditations, Marcus Aurelius said something wise: "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." Negative thoughts can grow in your mind when you are by yourself. Anxiety, self-doubt, loneliness, and even anger can start to take over. The Stoics told us to be in charge of our feelings and thoughts. They thought that we can't always change what happens to us, but we can change how we react to it. It's even more important to pay attention to your mental health when you live alone, to think about your ideas. Set aside time every day. Spend a few minutes writing or meditating in the morning. Write down all of your fears, stresses, and any bad thoughts you may have. Writing down your thoughts not only helps you clear your mind, but it also helps you see things in a bigger picture. The Stoics were known for negative visualization, which meant that they would think of the worst thing that could happen to help them understand their current troubles in a bigger picture. You can train your mind to welcome difficulties instead of being afraid of them by doing this. Meditation and being mindful can help you stay grounded and focused, as well as thinking about things. The Stoics learned to live in the present, concentrate on what they could manage, and let go of what they couldn't. It's easy for your thoughts to get out of hand when you live alone, but mindfulness can help you stay in the moment and stop worrying about things that don't matter. Also, it's important to get help when you need it. The Stoics believed in being independent, but they also knew that being weak can make you stronger. Epictetus and other Stoic teachers told us that we shouldn't be afraid to ask for help when we need it. You don't need to handle everything by yourself. Please don't be afraid to ask for help from friends, family, or pros if you are having emotional or mental problems. Human relationship is important for mental health. You can do this by going to therapy, joining a support group, or just talking to someone you trust. Last but not least, make sure you set limits for your mental health. It's great to be able to plan your own time when you live alone. But if you don't set clear limits, work, worry, or other people's needs can take over your time. The Stoics thought that you should focus on what's important and get rid of things that aren't important. Plan your time wisely. Set aside times to rest, relax, and do things that are good for your mind. Give yourself the freedom to say no when you're feeling too busy. Your emotional health is much more important than always trying to meet other people's expectations or please them. You should take care of your mind just as much as you do your body. You can better handle the challenges of living alone and have a life full of inner peace and emotional stability. If you practice daily reflection, become more mindful, ask for help when you need it, and set mental limits. The Stoics tell us that our happiness comes from how we handle our thoughts, not from what happens around us. If you keep your mind in check, your life will too. Number 7, not having a backup plan for emergencies. Things will go wrong, and when you live alone, it's even more important to have a plan. The Stoics thought that you should plan for the worst and stay calm when bad things happen. The good man is ready for everything, Seneca wrote. Spend some time learning what to do in case of an emergency. Learn what to do in case of a power outage, a medical issue, or anything else that comes up out of the blue when things go wrong. It's better to be ready than not know what to do. Emergencies can happen at any time, and if you live alone, you are responsible for all of them. Even if it's just an unexpected health scare, power loss, or something else, not having a backup support system can make things feel much worse. The Stoics knew how important it was to be ready, not to avoid bad luck, but to be able to handle it with calmness. When it did happen, Seneca said it, "Well, a good man is ready for everything." When you live alone, you have to be ready for the worst and keep your cool when things go wrong. You can make sure you are not left scrambling in a situation by taking steps ahead of time. The Stoics were very strong, not because they never had problems, but because they saw problems as normal parts of life. They taught us that being mentally and physically ready can help us handle the problems that come up in life with calmness and ease. Start by learning what to do in case of an emergency. What are you going to do if the power goes out? There's a fire or someone gets hurt? Have you got a first aid kit, a flashlight, a plan for how to get in touch with emergency services? Knowing what to do in case of an emergency can make all the difference even if you are not expecting one. Keep important emergency numbers written down and easy to reach, and always charge your phone, even when you are just hanging out at home. You should keep an up-to-date list of what you need and a list of your healthcare providers if you have any long-term health problems or take medications. In case of an emergency, put together a kit with water, non-perishable food, a first aid kit, batteries, and any medicines you might need. This kit should be kept somewhere you can get to quickly in case of an emergency. Stoics told us to prepare for hard times, not because they were afraid, but because it was smart to do so. By getting ready for situations ahead of time, you can handle them without getting stressed out. Having a group of people you can count on is another important part of being ready for a disaster, even if you live alone. The Stoics knew that life is about balance, which means being able to depend on yourself, while also working with others in case of an emergency. You should make a list of friends, family, or co-workers that you can call. You should be able to keep your freedom, but you should also know that you can get help when you need it. The Stoic idea of sympathy says that all living things are linked. Don't cut yourself off from everyone. Keep in touch with people who can help you through hard times, along with having someone to lean on. Make sure your living space is safe and works. Check your smoke alarms, carbon monoxide monitors, and fire extinguishers. Often small steps like these will help you spot possible dangers early and give you peace of mind that you are ready in case something goes wrong. Lastly, keep your mind ready. The Stoics told us that what makes us upset is not the event itself, but how we think about it. You can't stop problems from happening, but you can decide what to do when they do. Develop an attitude of peace, acceptance, and solving problems. When something unexpected happens, don't freak out. Instead, think about what you can do right now to fix the problem thought for the day. What matters is not what happens to you, but how you react to it. When you live alone, you are fully responsible for your own health and safety. You can face any unexpected situation with confidence. If you plan for problems ahead of time, you'll know that you've taken the right steps to handle it. Getting ready isn't just about staying safe. It's also about staying in charge, staying calm, and acting wisely, as the Stoics say. Number 8, being too rigid with your schedule. It's important to have a plan, but don't make it so rigid that you can't enjoy being spontaneous. Life is unexpected, so it's important to be able to adapt. We learned from the Stoics that we can't change everything, but we can change how we react. Some people believe that what happens to you doesn't matter as much as how you handle it. Make room in your schedule for things that might not go as planned. When life changes, whether it's a friend dropping by out of the blue or a sudden chance comes up, be ready to adapt and roll with it. You don't have to always follow your plan in life. What matters is how you deal with what comes your way when you live by yourself. It's important to have a routine because it gives you order, stability, and a reason to live. But one of the worst things you can do is stick to your plan so much that you miss out on the unexpected parts of life. If there is one thing that the Stoics taught us, it's that we can choose how to respond to things that happen to us. It's not what happens to you that matters, but how you react to it. This wise man said, if you plan out every minute of your day and don't leave any room for change, you might get upset or stressed when something unexpected happens. It sounds good to have strict plans, but life is unpredictable, and one of the best things about living alone is that you can choose how to adapt. You don't have to be in charge of every part of your time. You just need to be able to handle changes with kindness. Give yourself some freedom in your routine. This does not mean giving up all order. Instead, see your plan as a guide, not a prison. You should schedule time for important things, but you should also leave some blanks so that life can happen automatically. Perhaps an unannounced friend calls to meet up, or you are presented with a chance that could be fun or beneficial if your plan is rigid and can't be changed. You might miss out on these moments that you need to recharge, enjoy life, or grow. Seneca said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." So this is the main difference between having an organized but flexible life and having a rigid life with no room for fun or new things. When we let go of our plans and welcome the unexpected, life can give us some of its best moments. Adding this kind of freedom to your life can also help you stay away from burnout. If you make too many plans, you might feel like you are always on, and you won't be able to relax or fully enjoy the moment. A flexible schedule, on the other hand, lets you breathe change and find the right mix between work and play. It clears your mind so you can stay cool when things don't go as planned, like when your to-do list gets pushed back or when your surroundings change. Unpredictability wasn't seen as a bad thing by the Stoics. They thought it was an important part of life. We can have better, more satisfying experiences when we let go of the need to control every little thing. It's not about always having a great day. It's about how we deal with the bad things that happen. Allow yourself some freedom during the day. Don't let your plan run your life. Let it run your life. Being flexible can help you live a fuller and more balanced life. For example, you can enjoy an unplanned chat. Go for a walk when the weather is nice, or just spend a few hours doing something you hadn't planned. The Stoics knew that you can't always make things happen the way you want them to. You have to learn to accept things as they are. Number 9, not setting boundaries for yourself. The lines between work and play can get fuzzy when you live alone. You may be always ready to take calls or answer emails because you work from home. Setting limits was very important to the Stoics, especially when it came to yourself. Marcus Aurelius said, "Be strict with yourself, but easy on other people." Make your limits clear. Figure out when to stop working and start having fun. Do not let other people's needs take over your personal time. Make room for yourself to recover and keep your peace. You have a lot of freedom when you live alone, but it can be hard to manage your own time and space. People often mess up when they don't set clear limits, especially when they're trying to find a balance between work and fun. Some people let their personal life get in the way of their work life. This can happen if they work from home or are always ready for calls and emails. If you don't set limits, the lines between the two can get fuzzy, leaving you mentally and physically worn out. The Stoic stressed how important it was to set limits both with other people and with ourselves. Marcus Aurelius said it, "Well, be strict with yourself, but easy on other people." Setting boundaries isn't just about telling other people no. It's also about telling yourself yes. For people who live alone, setting and sticking to those rules is completely up to them. You need to be in charge of your time and energy so that work, family, and social responsibilities don't get in the way of your personal life. Draw clear lines around your work. Sometimes it's easy to let work get in the way of your personal time. When you work from home, you might work late at night or feel like you need to be ready all the time in case someone needs you to help them. Marcus Aurelius would tell us, though, that we are in charge of what we do. Set an end time for your job ahead of time and stick to it. Set a mental or physical alarm that goes off when it's time to stop working. For example, you could turn off your computer, close your office door, or go for a walk to mark the change from work to rest. You can avoid stress and give your mind a chance to relax by making clear boundaries between work time and personal time. Keep your free time safe when you live alone. It's easy to let other people's needs get in the way of your own time. You might always feel like you should be able to help your friends, family, or co-workers, but your time is valuable and you should be treated with care. Should you need to take a break or say no to someone, don't feel bad about it. It's important to set limits with other people, but it's also important to set limits with yourself. The Stoics thought that the only way to be truly self-disciplined was to know and respect your boundaries. Setting aside time to relax and take care of yourself is one way to do this. It's important to treat this time as seriously as work or other responsibilities. Set aside time to relax and recharge. Whether it's a walk in the woods, reading a book, or doing nothing at all. This is important for your health. You won't have the energy or mental focus to show up for yourself or anyone else if you keep giving other people all your time. Last but not least, understand that boundaries also apply to your mind. Don't let worry or bad thoughts get into your mind without checking them out first, like you do with your time. Be disciplined in your mind by putting limits on your thoughts. Figure out when your thoughts are going in circles or when you are worrying about things that don't matter. And learn the Stoic art of letting go. In the same way that you control your plan, you should also control your mind. You can make your own rules for your life when you live alone, but you have to be controlled and deliberate about how you use that freedom. Make rules for your time and yourself. You should know when to work, when to relax, and when to take care of your mental and emotional health. Marcus Aurelius said to be strict with yourself. Make your life one that respects your wants and keeps your peace. Boundaries are not walls. They hold you back from living a life that is out of balance, satisfying, and true to your ideals. Number 10. Not taking care of your health. It is easy to ignore your health when you live alone, like when you skip workouts or don't get enough sleep. Having good health is important for everything else in your life. Though the Stoics thought that people should be strong in every way, it was Epictetus who said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Regular exercise, healthy food, and sleep should all be top priorities. You live your life through your body, so take good care of it. When you live alone, you may not take care of your health as much as you should. It's easy to forget to move, eat well, and take care of yourself when no one is around to tell you you might not work out. Eat whatever is easy and quick or stay up late looking through your phone. The truth is, though, that your health is what holds everything else in your life together. Nothing else will grow without it. The Stoics knew how important it was to be strong in both mind and body. Hippocrates once said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." If you want to master yourself, you have to take care of your body as well as your mind. Taking care of your health is your sole duty. When you live alone, make time to work out every day. This doesn't mean you have to become a gym rat, but you should move your body often to keep your energy, strength, and mental sharpness. Find an activity that you enjoy and make it a regular part of your life. It could be a daily walk, a morning stretch practice, or going to the gym. According to Stoic thought, discipline leads to freedom. This is true for your health as well as for your work and personal life. Food that is good for you. When you are by yourself and don't want to cook, it's easy to grab fast food or leftovers. That being said, what you eat has a direct effect on your health, energy, and happiness. To follow the Stoic idea of modesty, try to eat in a way that gives you energy without making you overindulge. You can either plan your meals ahead of time or keep healthy options on hand. Eating well isn't just a way to keep your body going. It's also a sign of care for yourself. You'll show yourself that you are worth the work. If you choose healthier foods, put sleep first. It's easy to get distracted or busy late at night, whether it's work, fun, or other things. Still, sleep is the best thing you can do for yourself. The Stoics knew that getting enough rest was good for the mind and body. Marcus Aurelius often thought about how important it was to get enough rest to stay clear and focused. During sleep, your body heals, grows new cells, and gets more energy. Aim for a regular sleep plan. Set up a relaxing routine for bedtime and stay away from screens and stressful activities before bed the next day. Your body and mind will be grateful. Last but not least, remember that your body is how you experience life. You won't be able to enjoy the things that mean most if you don't take care of it. Living by yourself may give you freedom, but you are the only one who can make sure your health and safety. Pay attention to your health and give your body the love and care it needs. This will help you build a strong base for your life that will support your work, relationships, personal growth, and happiness. The Stoics believed that inner strength was important. You should do the same for your body. Learn to control yourself inside and out. Number 11, forgetting to celebrate your wins. No one is there to enjoy small wins with you when you live alone, but the Stoics told us that one important part of living a good life is celebrating our progress. According to Marcus Aurelius, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. Take a moment to enjoy what you've done, no matter how small. Recognize your progress. Whenever you finish something, whether it's a job, a project, or just getting through a tough day, you should treasure your trip and be proud of the work you put into it. People who live alone don't always have anyone to cheer them on. Enjoy their wins or even notice the little things they do well throughout the day. It's easy to forget about your own success because you might not think it matters if no one else notices it. But the Stoics tell us that one important part of living a good life is celebrating our successes, no matter how small they are. Someone smart once said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." The power of our thoughts lies in the fact that we can choose to be happy by recognizing the progress we've made toward our goals. Do something nice for yourself when you finish something. Celebrate your hard work. Whether it's finishing a job you've been putting off, finishing a project you've been working on, or just making it through a tough day, you don't need a big show or praise from other people to recognize your success. The Stoics actually said that recognizing these wins, even if they are small, is a good way to become more grateful and strengthen your inner strength. Think about how much work you put into each task in a world that puts more value on the end goal than the way there. It's simple to forget to value the hard work that leads to that goal. The Stoics thought that your true value comes from how hard you work to reach your goals, not just how well you do. You train your mind to focus on what you can control, your acts, your attitude, and your strength by enjoying the process. This gives you a sense of inner satisfaction that doesn't depend on approval from other people. It's not selfish or self-indulgent to celebrate your wins. It's a way to acknowledge the progress you've made and the hard work you've put in. It's a sign that you've grown and are committed to life on purpose. Take a moment to think about your trip. Now that you live alone, do not wait for other people to confirm your growth. Confirm it yourself. Don't forget that your trip is yours to enjoy. Every move you make, no matter how big or small, shows what kind of person you are, how disciplined you are, and how committed you are to living a good life. Even if no one is there to praise your work, be proud of it. The Stoics thought that the only way to be truly happy was to find inner peace and be proud of your own deeds, no matter what was going on around you. That's why you should celebrate yourself the next time you finish something. No matter how big or small, thank yourself for your hard work. Think about how far you've come and enjoy the trip you are on. Really, the decisions and acts you have in life show up in your life by celebrating your wins. You are supporting the Stoic idea that happiness comes from how you choose to see and value your own life, not from what other people say about you. To live with purpose, you first need to understand your guiding values. What matters most to you? Is it integrity, compassion, family? These values are your compass, helping you navigate life's challenges and decisions. Imagine you're deciding whether to take on a big project at work. It offers prestige and a pay bump, but it also means sacrificing time with your family. If one of your core values is family, the decision becomes clear. Stoicism teaches us to prioritize what aligns with our deeper sense of self, not fleeting rewards. Take some time today to write down 3 to 5 values that matter most to you. Keep this list somewhere visible, on your desk, your fridge, or your phone. When faced with a tough decision, ask yourself, does this align with my values? You'll find it easier to make choices that feel right. Values are important, but they mean little without action. As the Stoics teach us, virtue is about what we do, not just what we believe. Seneca reminds us, every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end. Each day is a chance to live out your values in small, meaningful ways. Let's say one of your values is kindness. That might mean helping a neighbor carry groceries, being patient with a stressed coworker, or simply listening when a friend needs to talk. These actions don't have to be grand, they just have to be consistent. At the end of each day, reflect on one action you took that embodied your values. Did you live out kindness, honesty, or courage? Over time, these small actions will build a life of purpose. Living with purpose doesn't mean life will be easy. In fact, the Stoics teach us that challenges are essential. They shape us into stronger, wiser people. Marcus Aurelius said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." In other words, the obstacles you face can be your greatest teachers. Think about a time when something went wrong. Maybe you faced a setback at work or a disagreement with a loved one. It's easy to see these moments as negatives, but Stoicism reframes them as opportunities. That tough conversation with a partner, it taught you to communicate more clearly. That failed project, it pushed you to adapt and improve. The next time you encounter a challenge, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can this experience make me stronger? Even in difficult moments, this mindset turns obstacles into stepping stones. Another important part of living with purpose is thinking about the legacy you'll leave behind. Not in terms of fame, but in the impact you've had on others. What kind of example do you want to set for your family, your friends, and your community? The Stoics believed that a life well lived is one that inspires others to strive for virtue. Epictetus said, "Don't explain your philosophy." This means showing others through your actions what it looks like to live with integrity, courage, and kindness. Consider the legacy of a mentor or family member who inspired you. Maybe it was a grandparent who always faced adversity with grace, or a teacher who believed in you when no one else did. Their actions left an impression that shaped your life. You have the same opportunity to be that example for someone else. Ask yourself, how do I want to be remembered? Then take one small action today that reflects that legacy. It could be as simple as writing a note of encouragement to a friend or volunteering your time to help someone in need. Before we wrap up, let's take a moment to reflect on what we've covered today. We've talked about how to recognize envy and falsehood in others and protect your peace by staying true to your values. We've explored daily Stoic practices like the morning reflection, the dichotomy of control, and cultivating gratitude, all tools that help you build resilience and live with purpose. Remember, Stoicism isn't just a philosophy, it's a way of life. It's about showing up every day as your best self, not just for you, but for the people around you. By embodying these principles, you can create a life filled with meaning, strength, and peace. Now, I'd love to hear from you. What resonated with you the most from today's video? Have you faced challenges with envy or dishonesty, and how did you handle them? Share your story in the comments below. Your experiences might inspire someone else watching this video. And if you found these lessons helpful, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel, Inner Fortress. We're here to explore Stoic wisdom together and help you apply it in your daily life. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you don't miss our next video, where we'll dive into mastering emotional resilience through Stoicism. Until next time, stay strong, stay stoic, and remember, your inner fortress is unshakable. To close, let me leave you with this thought. The world is unpredictable, but your inner world doesn't have to be. By focusing on what you can control and living with purpose, you create a foundation that no external force can shake. This is the heart of Stoicism. Thank you for joining me on this journey, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. How you start your day often sets the tone for everything that follows. In Stoicism, the morning isn't just about getting out of bed and diving into your tasks. It's a sacred time to prepare your mind, set your intentions, and build mental armor for the day ahead. Marcus Aurelius began each day with a reflection on the challenges he might face. He wrote, "When you wake up in the morning, tell yourself the people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly. They are like this because they cannot tell good from evil." While this might sound harsh, it's not about expecting the worst. It's about being ready, mentally and emotionally, to handle anything that comes your way with grace and resilience. Let's say you're a parent, and mornings can be chaotic, getting the kids ready, dealing with unexpected tantrums and rushing out the door. Instead of letting the chaos overwhelm you, take 5 minutes before the day starts to breathe, reflect, and remind yourself, I can't control everything that happens, but I can control how I respond. You'll notice how much calmer and more focused you feel. Before you grab your phone or check your emails, take a few moments to reflect on the day ahead. What challenges might arise, and how can you approach them with patience and wisdom? Write down one positive intention for the day, like, I will remain calm under pressure, or I will listen more and speak less. In our busy modern world, finding moments of stillness can feel impossible. But Stoicism reminds us that stillness is where clarity and strength are born. Seneca said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." Often our stress comes not from what's happening, but from the stories we tell ourselves about it. Taking a moment to pause, breathe, and clear your mind can be transformative. It allows you to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. Picture this. You're stuck in traffic, running late for an important appointment. Frustration bubbles up, and your mind races with thoughts like, why didn't I leave earlier? Or I'm going to look so unprofessional. But what if, instead of spiraling, you took a deep breath and reminded yourself, this is outside my control. Stressing won't change the traffic, but I can choose to stay calm. Set a reminder on your phone or smartwatch to pause for 1 minute every few hours. Use this time to close your eyes, take a few deep breaths, and ground yourself in the present moment. Over time, these moments of stillness will fade away. Will help you navigate even the busiest days with greater ease. We've talked about starting the day with clarity, but just as important is how you end it. The Stoics believed in nightly reflection as a way to evaluate your actions, learn from your experiences, and prepare for a better tomorrow. Marcus Aurelius would ask himself questions like, "What did I do well today? What could I have done better? What can I learn from my experiences?" This practice isn't about self-criticism. It's about growth and self-awareness. Imagine you had a tough conversation with a friend today. Maybe you said something you regret. Or maybe you handled it with kindness and understanding. By reflecting on that moment in the evening, you can learn from it and carry those lessons forward into future interactions. Each night before bed, spend 5 minutes writing in a journal. Note one thing you're proud of, one thing you'd like to improve, and one lesson you learned. Over time, this habit will help you become more intentional in your actions and more aligned with your values. Gratitude is one of the most effective ways to counteract negativity, envy, and dissatisfaction. Seneca reminds us we are more often frightened than hurt, and we suffer more in imagination than in reality. Focusing on what you're thankful for shifts your perspective from scarcity to abundance. Think about a stressful day you've had recently. Maybe work was overwhelming, or a family disagreement left you feeling drained. Even on those days, there's always something to be grateful for. The support of a friend, the beauty of a sunset, or even the fact that you made it through the day. Gratitude helps us see these small moments of joy that we'll never forget, that are often overshadowed by stress. Start a gratitude journal each day. Write down 3 things you're grateful for. They don't have to be big. Sometimes the smallest joys have the biggest impact by doing this regularly. You'll find it easier to stay positive, even during challenging times. Let's break it down. You can't control other people's opinions, actions, or emotions, but you can control your own thoughts, choices, and reactions. By focusing only on what's within your control, you free yourself from unnecessary stress. Think about a family gathering, something most of us can relate to. Maybe there's always that one relative who criticizes everything. From your career to your cooking, you can't stop them from speaking their mind, but you can control how you respond. Instead of engaging in an argument or letting their words ruin your day, you can remind yourself, their opinions are theirs, not mine. I choose to stay calm and enjoy this time with my family. Here's a daily exercise to strengthen this mindset. At the end of each day, write down one situation where you felt frustrated or upset. Then ask yourself, was this within my control? If it wasn't, let it go. If it was, think about how you could handle it differently next time. This small habit can create a massive shift in how you approach challenges. Gratitude might not seem like a tool for resilience, but it's one of the most powerful ways to combat envy and negativity. Seneca reminds us, it is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, who is poor. Envy often comes from a place of comparison, thinking we're lacking something someone else has. Gratitude flips. Instead of focusing on what you don't have, Stoicism teaches us to appreciate what you do have. Gratitude grounds you in the present and helps you see abundance where you once saw scarcity. Let's say you're scrolling through social media and see a friend posting about their luxurious vacation. Instead of feeling envious, pause and reflect on what you're grateful for. Maybe it's the comfort of your home, the support of your family, or the little joys of everyday life, like your morning coffee or a favorite hobby. Gratitude turns what you have into enough. Every night before bed, write down 3 things you're grateful for. They don't have to be big. Small joys count too. Over time, you'll notice how this simple practice shifts your mindset and makes you more resilient to feelings of envy. Building resilience isn't just about inner work. It's also about setting healthy boundaries. Stoicism teaches us to prioritize our inner peace. And sometimes that means protecting our time, energy, and relationships. Seneca said, "Associate with those who will make a better man of you." While we can't always choose who we're around, we can choose how much access we give to certain people. If you have a friend or colleague who consistently brings negativity into your life, it's okay to set boundaries. Maybe that means spending less time with them, or politely steering conversations away from toxic topics. It's not about cutting people off. It's about deciding where to focus your energy. Take a moment to reflect on your relationships. Ask yourself, which people energize me and which people drain me? For those who drain you, think about one small boundary you can set this week. It could be as simple as saying, "I'm not available to discuss this right now." Finally, let's end the day the Stoic way, with an evening reflection. This practice is a cornerstone of Stoicism, and it's a chance to review your actions, learn from your experiences, and prepare for a better tomorrow. Marcus Aurelius would reflect each evening, asking himself, "What did I do well? What could I have done better? What can I learn from today?" It's not about beating yourself up for mistakes. It's about growth and self-awareness. Imagine you had a difficult conversation with a coworker today. During your reflection, you might ask, "Did I handle that conversation with patience and honesty? If not, what can I do differently next time?" This kind of reflection helps you stay aligned with your values and keeps you moving forward. Try this tonight. Before you go to bed, spend 5 minutes reviewing your day. Write down one thing you're proud of, one thing you'd like to improve, and one lesson you learned. Over time, this practice will help you approach each day with greater clarity and purpose. We've explored practical Stoic tools for resilience, but there's one more piece of the puzzle, connecting these practices to your greater purpose. Let's talk about how to use Stoicism to live a life of meaning and fulfillment. Let's talk about something that's central to Stoicism and to a meaningful life: purpose. In Stoicism, living with purpose isn't about chasing fame, fortune, or accolades. It's about aligning your actions with your core values and contributing to the greater good. Epictetus put it beautifully. First, say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. Purpose starts with clarity, knowing what kind of person you want to be, and making choices that reflect that vision. It's not about perfection, but progress. To live with purpose, you first need to understand your guiding values. What matters most to you? Is it integrity, compassion, family? These values are your compass, helping you navigate life's challenges and decisions. Imagine you're deciding whether to take on a big project at work. It offers prestige and a pay bump, but it also means sacrificing time with your family. If one of your core values is family, the decision becomes clear. Stoicism teaches us to prioritize what aligns, with our deeper sense of self, not fleeting rewards. Take some time today to write down 3 to 5 values that matter most to you. Keep this list somewhere visible on your desk, your fridge, or your phone. When faced with a tough decision, ask yourself, does this align with my values? You'll find it easier to make choices that feel right. Values are important, but they mean little without action. As the Stoics teach us, virtue is about what we do, not just what we believe. Seneca reminds us, every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end. Each day is a chance to live out your values in small, meaningful ways. Let's say one of your values is kindness. That might mean helping a neighbor carry groceries, being patient with a stressed coworker, or simply listening when a friend needs to talk. These actions don't have to be grand, they just have to be consistent. At the end of each day, reflect on one action you took that embodied your values. Did you live out kindness, honesty, or courage? Over time, these small actions will build a life of purpose. Living with purpose doesn't mean life will be easy. For in fact, the Stoics teach us that challenges are essential. They shape us into stronger, wiser people. Marcus Aurelius said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." In other words, the obstacles you face can be your greatest teachers. Think about a time when something went wrong. Maybe you faced a setback at work or a disagreement with a loved one. It's easy to see these moments as negatives, but Stoicism reframes them as opportunities. That tough conversation with a partner, it taught you to communicate more clearly. That failed project, it pushed you to adapt and improve. The next time you encounter a challenge, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can this experience make me stronger? Even in difficult moments, this mindset will help you. Turns obstacles into stepping stones. Another important part of living with purpose is thinking about the legacy you'll leave behind, not in terms of fame, but in the impact you've had on others. What kind of example do you want to set for your family, your friends, and your community? The Stoics believed that a life well lived is one that inspires others to strive for virtue. Epictetus said, "Don't explain your philosophy, embody it." This means showing others through your actions what it looks like to live with integrity, courage, and kindness. Consider the legacy of a mentor or family member who inspired you. Maybe it was a grandparent who always faced adversity with grace, or a teacher who believed in you when no one else did. Their actions left an impression that shaped your life. You have the same opportunity to be that example for someone else. Ask yourself, how do I want to be remembered? Then take one small action today that reflects that legacy. It could be as simple as writing a note of encouragement to a friend or volunteering your time to help someone in need. Before we wrap up, let's take a moment to reflect on what we've covered today. We've talked about how to recognize envy and falsehood in others and protect your peace by staying true to your values. We've explored daily Stoic practices like the morning reflection, the dichotomy of control, and cultivating gratitude, all tools that help you build resilience and live with purpose. Remember, Stoicism isn't just a philosophy. It's a way of life. It's about showing up every day as your best self, not just for you, but for the people around you. By embodying these principles, you can create a life filled with meaning, strength, and peace. Now, I'd love to hear from you. What resonated with you the most from today's video? Have you faced challenges with envy or dishonesty, and how did you handle them? Share your story in the comments below. Your experiences might inspire someone else watching this video. And if you found these lessons helpful, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel, Inner Fortress. We're here to explore Stoic wisdom together and help you apply it in your daily life. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you don't miss our next video, where we'll dive into mastering emotional resilience through Stoicism. Until next time, stay strong, stay stoic, and remember, your inner fortress is unshakable. To close, let me leave you with this thought. The world is unpredictable, but your inner world doesn't have to be. By focusing on what you can control and living with purpose, you create a foundation that no external force can shake. This is the heart of Stoicism. Thank you for joining me on this journey, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. How you start your day often sets the tone for everything that follows. In Stoicism, the morning isn't just about getting out of bed and diving into your tasks. It's a sacred time to prepare your mind, set your intentions, and build mental armor for the day ahead. Marcus Aurelius began each day with a reflection on the challenges he might face. He wrote, "When you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, the people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly. They are like this because they cannot tell good from evil. While this might sound harsh, it's not about expecting the worst. It's about being ready, mentally and emotionally, to handle anything that comes your way with grace and resilience. Let's say you're a parent and mornings can be chaotic, getting the kids ready, dealing with unexpected tantrums, and rushing out the door. Instead of letting the chaos overwhelm you, take 5 minutes before the day starts to breathe, reflect, and remind yourself, I can't control everything that happens, but I can control how I respond. You'll notice how much calmer and more focused you feel. Before you grab your phone or check your emails, take a few moments to reflect on the day ahead. What challenges might arise, and how can you approach them with patience and wisdom? Write down one positive intention for the day, like, I will remain calm under pressure, or I will listen more and speak less. In our busy, modern world, finding moments of stillness can feel impossible. But Stoicism reminds us that stillness is where clarity and strength are born. Seneca said, we suffer more in imagination than in reality. Often our stress comes not from what's happening, but from the stories we tell ourselves about it. Taking a moment to pause, breathe, and clear your mind can be transformative. It allows you to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. Picture this. You're stuck in traffic, running late for an important appointment. Frustration bubbles up, and your mind races with thoughts like, why didn't I leave earlier? Or I'm going to look so unprofessional. But what if, instead of spiraling, you took a deep breath and reminded yourself, this is outside my control. Stressing won't change the traffic, but I can choose to stay calm. Set a reminder on your phone or smartwatch to pause for 1 minute every few hours. Use this time to close your eyes, take a few deep breaths, and relax, and ground yourself in the present moment over time. These moments of stillness will help you navigate even the busiest days with greater ease. We've talked about starting the day with clarity, but just as important is how you end it. The Stoics believed in nightly reflection as a way to evaluate your actions, learn from your experiences, and prepare for a better tomorrow. Marcus Aurelius would ask himself questions like, what did I do well today? What could I have done better? What can I learn from my experiences? This practice isn't about self-criticism. It's about growth and self-awareness. Imagine you had a tough conversation with a friend today. Maybe you said something you regret, or maybe you handled it with kindness and understanding. By reflecting on that moment in the evening, you can learn from it and carry those lessons forward into future interactions each night before bed. Spend 5 minutes writing in a journal note, one thing you are proud of, one thing you'd like to improve, and one lesson you learned. Over time, this habit will help you become more intentional in your actions and more aligned with your values. Gratitude is one of the most effective ways to counteract negativity, envy, and dissatisfaction. Seneca reminds us, we are more often frightened than hurt, and we suffer more in imagination than in reality. Focusing on what you're thankful for shifts your perspective from scarcity to abundance. Think about a stressful day you've had recently. Maybe work was overwhelming, or a family disagreement left you feeling drained. Even on those days, there's always something to be grateful for. The support of a friend, the beauty of a sunset, or even the fact that you made it through the day. Gratitude helps us see these small moments of joy that are often overshadowed by stress. Start a gratitude journal. Each day, write down 3 things you're grateful for. They don't have to be big. Sometimes the smallest joys have the biggest impact. By doing this regularly, you'll find it easier to stay positive, even during challenging times. Stoicism isn't just about personal growth. It's also about how we connect with others. The Stoics believed that relationships thrive when they're built on trust, honesty, and mutual respect. As Seneca said, associate with those who will make a better man of you. Think about your closest relationships, whether it's with a spouse, a friend, or a co-worker. Are these connections built on authenticity, or do they sometimes feel transactional or superficial? Stoicism teaches us to focus on quality over quantity when it comes to relationships. This week, reach out to someone who brings positivity into your life. Let them know you appreciate them. A simple act of gratitude can deepen your connection and strengthen your bond. Conflict is inevitable in any relationship, but how we handle it makes all the difference. Epictetus taught, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Instead of reacting with anger or defensiveness, Stoicism encourages us to pause, reflect, and respond with clarity. Imagine a family disagreement during the holidays, a time that's supposed to be joyful, but often comes with its fair share of stress. Instead of escalating the argument, what if you paused, took a deep breath, and calmly shared your perspective without judgment? By choosing a thoughtful response, you set the tone for a more constructive conversation. The next time you feel tension rising in a conversation, count to 5 before responding. Use that pause to consider whether your words will help or harm the situation. This small habit can lead to more meaningful and harmonious relationships. Not all relationships are meant to last. Sometimes the best way to protect your peace is to set boundaries or let go of connections that no longer serve you. This isn't about anger or resentment. It's about prioritizing your well-being. Think about a relationship that drains your energy. Maybe it's a coworker who's constantly negative or a friend who only reaches out when they need something. By integrating these Stoic practices into your daily life, you can create a foundation of peace, resilience, and purpose. Stoicism isn't just a philosophy. It's a way of life that empowers you to navigate challenges, build authentic connections, and live with greater clarity and strength. Remember, you don't have to be perfect. Progress, not perfection, is the goal. Take one step today, whether it's practicing stillness, journaling your reflections, or expressing gratitude, and watch how it transforms your life over time. Life doesn't always go as planned. Maybe it's a missed opportunity, a financial hiccup, or an unexpected health challenge. Whatever the setback, Stoicism teaches us that our response, not the event itself, defines the outcome. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. Imagine you've been planning a big family gathering for weeks, and suddenly, the weather derails your outdoor plans. It's easy to get frustrated, but instead of letting it ruin your day, pause and reframe the situation. Could this be an opportunity to adapt and create new memories indoors? By focusing on what you can control, your attitude, you turn an obstacle into a moment of connection. The next time something doesn't go your way, try this. Pause, take a deep breath, and ask yourself, what's within my control right now? Focus on taking one small, constructive action. This practice builds resilience over time. Fear and anxiety are natural parts of life, but they don't have to control you. The Stoics believed that many of our fears stem from imagining the worst-case scenario, things that may never even happen. Seneca wrote, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." Let's say you're nervous about an upcoming presentation at work. Instead of spiraling into, "What if I mess up?" thoughts, take a Stoic approach. Visualize yourself calmly delivering your message and handling any challenges with grace. By focusing on preparation and presence, you shift from fear to empowerment. Try practicing a Stoic exercise called negative visualization. Spend a few minutes imagining a challenging scenario and think about how you would respond with strength and composure. This isn't about pessimism, it's about building mental preparedness for whatever comes your way. One of the most popular, powerful lessons in Stoicism is the concept of impermanence. Everything in life, both the good and the bad, is temporary. Accepting this helps us appreciate the present moment and let go of what no longer serves us. Epictetus said, "Don't demand that things happen as you wish, but wish that they happen as they do, and you will go on well." This mindset allows you to face life's changes with grace. Think about a time when you struggled to let go. Maybe it was the end of a job, a move to a new city, or even a shift in a friendship. Accepting impermanence doesn't mean you don't care. It means you honor what was while embracing what's next. At the end of each day, take a moment to reflect on one thing that changed or ended, and practice gratitude for its role in your life. This simple exercise helps you cultivate a sense of peace and adaptability. Criticism is something we all face, whether it's at work, in relationships, or at home, or even from strangers. The Stoics remind us not to take it personally. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If someone is able to show me that what I think or do is not right, I will happily change, for I seek the truth." This approach turns criticism into an opportunity for growth, rather than a source of conflict. It also helps us recognize when criticism is more about the other person than ourselves. Imagine receiving a critical comment from a colleague about your work. Instead of reacting defensively, take a step back and ask yourself, is there truth in this feedback? If so, how can I improve? By approaching criticism with curiosity rather than resistance, you strengthen both your character and your relationships. The next time you face criticism, pause and ask yourself, is this feedback useful? If so, how can I act on it? If not, can I let it go? This small shift in mindset can transform how you handle difficult conversations. Stoicism isn't something you read about once and master. It's a lifelong practice. Just like physical fitness requires regular exercise, mental and emotional resilience require daily effort. Seneca said, "Luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity." Daily Stoic practices prepare you to face life's opportunities and challenges with strength and clarity. Think about how a daily habit, like brushing your teeth or taking a morning walk, keeps you healthy. Stoic practices like reflection, gratitude, and mindfulness do the same for your mind and spirit. Start small. Choose one Stoic practice like journaling, morning reflection, and meditation, or negative visualization, and commit to it for the next 7 days. Notice how it impacts your mood, decisions, and relationships. Another key to sustaining the Stoic mindset is surrounding yourself with like-minded individuals. Seneca advised us to associate with those who will make a better man of you, whether it's a friend, family member, or online community. Connecting with others on the same journey helps you stay accountable and inspired. Imagine discussing Stoic ideas with a close friend, or participating in a community that shares your interest in personal growth. These connections not only deepen your understanding, but also remind you that you're not alone in your pursuit of a meaningful life. Consider joining a Stoic discussion group, either locally or online. Share your thoughts, learn from others, and grow together. If that feels like a big step, start by discussing Stoic ideas with a friend or loved one. Finally, remember that Stoicism isn't about being perfect. It's about progress. Each day is an opportunity to grow, learn, and live more intentionally. Even small steps add up to big changes over time. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, don't be discouraged if you find yourself failing again and again. You must be content if improvement is tiny. for you should never despair. This isn't about where you start, it's about where you're headed. Think about a time when you struggled to stick with a habit, like exercising or eating healthier. The days when you kept going, even after setbacks, are what truly mattered. The same applies to Stoic practices. It's the consistency that counts. At the end of each week, take a moment to celebrate your progress. Reflect on one thing you've improved, no matter how small. This habit keeps you motivated and reminds you of how far you've come. As we wrap up, let's take a moment to reflect. Stoicism isn't just a philosophy. It's a way of living that empowers you to face life's challenges with resilience, clarity, and purpose. Whether it's dealing with setbacks, embracing impermanence, or responding to criticism, the practices we've explored today are tools you can carry with you every day. Remember, this journey isn't about perfection. It's about showing up, learning, and growing a little more each day. By applying these lessons, you're building an inner fortress that nothing external can shake. I'd love to hear from you. What's one Stoic practice you're excited to try? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if this video resonated with you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who might find it helpful. Together, we can spread the wisdom of Stoicism far and wide. Until next time, stay strong, stay stoic, and remember, your inner fortress is unshakable. Every decision you make is a battle between two forces, emotion and logic. One is impulsive, driven by fear, excitement, and immediate gratification. The other is measured, focused on long-term consequences and rooted in reason. Most people believe they are logical thinkers, that they make rational choices based on careful analysis. But in reality, emotions often sit in the driver's seat, steering actions before logic even has a chance to intervene. The mind left untrained defaults to what feels right, not necessarily what is right. This is why people abandon workouts after a bad day, spend money they don't have for a fleeting sense of comfort, or avoid difficult conversations because they fear discomfort. It is why procrastination takes over when a task feels overwhelming, even when logic knows that delaying will only make it worse. The emotional mind reacts to now while the logical mind considers later. But in the absence of discipline, emotion wins because it speaks the loudest. Marcus Aurelius understood this struggle intimately. He wrote constantly about the need to separate thought from feeling to ensure that action was dictated by reason rather than impulse. He reminded himself that just because something feels urgent does not mean it is important, and just because something feels difficult does not mean it should be avoided. He trained his mind to pause before acting, to question whether a reaction was based on clarity or simply a temporary emotional state. This ability to slow down to challenge knee-jerk responses was the foundation of his self-mastery. Seneca, in his reflections on human behavior, observed how often people allow emotions to distort their judgment. He saw how anger leads to regrettable words, how excitement leads to overcommitment, how fear leads to missed opportunities. He believed that true wisdom comes from recognizing these patterns and training oneself to pause before acting. He advised a simple but powerful practice when emotions rise: delay action. This does not mean ignoring feelings, but allowing time for logic to take control. Before making a decision, Epictetus took a more direct approach, teaching that those who are ruled by emotion are not truly free. He saw that a person who cannot control their reactions, who explodes in anger, who gives into every impulse, who allows fear to dictate their choices, is a slave to their emotions. To him, freedom was not found in external circumstances, but in the ability to govern oneself. He taught his students to observe their thoughts like a third party, to step back from their own emotions and analyze them as if they were watching someone else. Why am I feeling this? Is this reaction helping me? What would I advise a friend to do in this situation? These questions create space. Space for logic to enter before emotion takes over. Modern psychology echoes these ancient insights. Studies on cognitive biases show that people consistently overestimate the importance of emotions in decision-making. The hot-cold empathy gap explains why individuals who are calm often make completely different choices than when they are emotional. The mind when under stress or excitement narrows its focus, prioritizing immediate relief over long-term benefit. This is why emotional decisions often feel right in the moment, but lead to regret afterward. So how does one regain control? The answer is deliberate awareness. Pause before acting. When an emotion is strong, wait. Let logic have a chance to speak before making a decision. Train the brain to focus on long-term consequences. Ask, will this matter a week from now? A year from now? Create systems that override impulse. If logic says you need to exercise, but emotions want comfort, remove the need for debate. Set the gym clothes out to the night before. Make the first step automatic. The Stoics did not believe in suppressing emotion. They believed in mastering it. Marcus Aurelius trained himself to act based on principle, not passing moods. Seneca observed his emotions before reacting, ensuring that his decisions served his future, not just his present. Epictetus saw that true strength lies not in controlling the world, but in controlling oneself. The mind will always have two voices. One driven by fleeting emotion, the other by reason. The question is, who are you allowing to make your decisions? The danger of big goals, why they feel impossible to achieve. Ambition fuels progress, but when a goal feels too large, too distant, or too overwhelming, the mind resists. The bigger the vision, the heavier the weight of expectation. A person looks at their dream, a career change, writing a book, mastering a skill, and instead of feeling inspired, they feel stuck. The path seems unclear, the journey too long, the work required too much. And so rather than starting, they hesitate, they overthink, they wait. Not because they lack ability, but because they have made the mistake of looking at the mountain instead of the next step. The mind struggles with abstract goals. It does not process. I want to become financially independent the same way it processes. I need to save $10 today. It does not handle, I want to be in the best shape of my life, the same way it handles. I will do 20 minutes of exercise right now. The brain is designed to focus on immediate, tangible actions. What can be done now? Not vague, distant ambitions. This is why so many people set big goals, yet fail to act. The vision is clear, but the process is undefined. And when the path is unclear, procrastination takes over. Marcus Aurelius understood that great things are built piece by piece. He reminded himself not to focus on the enormity of a task, but on the smallest action available in the moment. Do what is in front of you. He wrote, he did not allow himself to be overwhelmed by the weight of responsibility. Instead, he approached each day with a practical mindset, knowing that action, no matter how small, is always within reach. Seneca saw that people often defeat themselves before they begin. They imagine a goal in its final form, and feeling unworthy or incapable, they hesitate. He believed that progress is made not by waiting for the confidence to begin, but by beginning and allowing confidence to follow. He taught that rather than focusing on how much remains to be done, one should focus on what can be done now. While we wait for life, life passes. Action is the cure for hesitation. Epictetus took a different perspective. He believed that those who become overwhelmed by large goals do so because they are too attached to the outcome rather than the process. He saw that fulfillment is not in achieving a final result, but in the daily discipline of effort. The weight of a big goal disappears when one stops obsessing over, when it will be completed, and instead focuses on what can be done today. He advised his students to treat every task as if it were the only task, to give full attention to what was within their control, and let the long-term results take care of themselves. Modern psychology confirms this ancient wisdom. Studies show that the brain struggles with long-term rewards. It prioritizes what is immediate over what is important. This is why the concept of small wins is so powerful. Each small accomplishment, no matter how minor, builds momentum, triggering the brain's reward system and reinforcing progress. Success is not a single moment of achievement. It is the accumulation of daily effort. So how does one overcome the paralysis of big goals? Break them down. Instead of saying, "I need to write a book," say, "I will write 300 words today." Focus on today's action, not the end result. Thinking too far ahead creates anxiety. The only step that matters is the next one. Track small wins. Progress must be seen to be felt. Keep a record of every completed step, no matter how small. Marcus Aurelius trained himself to focus only on the task at hand. Seneca believed that action was the cure for hesitation, and Epictetus saw discipline as the key to progress. The lesson is clear. Big goals are only intimidating when viewed as a whole, but every mountain is climbed step by step. The challenge is not whether you can achieve something great. It is whether you can begin, and then begin again until what once seemed impossible becomes inevitable. The brain's time miscalculation. Why you think you have more time than you do. Time feels abundant until it isn't. The mind plays a dangerous trick, convincing you that there is always more of it. I will start tomorrow. I'll have time later next week. I'll be more focused. And so plans are postponed. Important. Work is delayed, and life moves forward while action remains stuck in waiting. The brain creates the illusion that time is infinite, yet experience proves otherwise. Deadlines arrive faster than expected. Opportunities slip away unnoticed. The future that once seemed distant becomes the present, and suddenly time is no longer on your side. This miscalculation is deeply wired into human psychology. The mind struggles to comprehend the passage of time accurately. It underestimates how quickly the future becomes the present, and overestimates how much can be done later. This is why people assume they can finish a project in an unrealistic time frame. Why they think they will feel ready in the future. Why they delay important tasks, believing there will be a better moment to begin. But time does not wait, and the longer one assumes it is available, the more of it is lost. Marcus Aurelius constantly reminded himself that procrastination is a form of self-deception. He saw that those who assume they have unlimited time end up wasting the days they do have. He wrote, "You could be good today, but instead you choose tomorrow." He understood that hesitation does not protect opportunity. It erodes it. The only time that can be controlled is now. To wait for a better moment is to assume life will pause for you. It won't. Seneca was even more direct, warning that people act as if life is endless, when in reality most of it is wasted. He observed that people fear losing money, property, or status, yet they throw away time. The one resource that cannot be replaced. We are not given a short life, but we make it short by wasting it. His philosophy was clear. If something is important, it must be done now. If a goal matters, it must be pursued today. To assume there will always be more time is to gamble with the most finite resource of all. Epictetus approached time from a different angle. He did not see procrastination as merely a loss of productivity, but as a failure to live fully. He taught that every moment is an opportunity to act, to grow, to shape one's future. To delay is not just to waste time, it is to postpone life itself. He encouraged his students to stop asking whether they were ready and instead ask, what is stopping me from acting right now? He knew that hesitation was not a result of poor timing, but a fear. The fear of imperfection, the fear of discomfort, the fear of failure. But life doesn't pause for hesitation. Modern psychology confirms this ancient wisdom. Studies show that people suffer from time, discounting a cognitive bias that makes the future feel abstract and distant. This is why deadlines feel far away until suddenly they are urgent. It is why people assume they will have more discipline, more motivation, more time later. Yet when later arrives the same, excuses remain. The solution is not to wait for time to feel urgent, but to treat every moment as if it already is. So how does one break free from this illusion of time abundance? Set shorter deadlines. The brain responds to urgency. Give yourself artificial constraints. What would take months can often be done in weeks when approached with intensity. Use the compressed time technique. Ask yourself, if I only had half the time to complete this, what would I do differently? This forces clarity, removing procrastination disguised as preparation. Stop assuming later will be easier. It won't. The future version of you will have the same distractions, the same doubts, the same challenges. The only way to change outcomes is to change action now. Marcus Aurelius refused to wait for the right moment to act. Seneca saw procrastination as a theft of life, and Epictetus understood that hesitation is a choice. The lesson is clear. There is no later, no perfect moment, no ideal future. The only time to act is now, and if you do not take control of your time, time will take control of you. The power of environment, how to remove procrastination triggers. Most people assume that willpower is the key to productivity. That success is simply a matter of self-discipline and internal motivation. But what if the real battle is not inside the mind, but in the world around you? Environment shapes behavior more than willpower ever could. A person surrounded by distractions will struggle to focus no matter how determined they are. A workspace cluttered with interruptions will override even the strongest work ethic. The truth is, procrastination is often not a personal failure, but a reflection of an unoptimized environment. The mind is constantly reacting to cues, subtle signals in the surroundings that either push it toward action or pull it toward distraction. A phone within arm's reach, a social media tab left open, a couch more inviting than a workspace. All of these make procrastination the default choice. People don't check their phones 100 times a day because they intend to waste time. They do it because the phone is there, constantly triggering an automatic response. The easier a distraction is to access, the harder it is to resist. Marcus Aurelius understood that focus requires deliberate effort, not just internal discipline, but external adjustments. He structured his life in a way that minimized distractions, ensuring that his surroundings supported his ability to think, reflect, and act. Seneca too saw that people often confuse desire with destiny. He noted that many wish for success, peace, or happiness, but few are willing to do the uncomfortable work required to achieve those things. He believed that the universe does not reward thoughts, it rewards preparedness. To Seneca, the law of attraction was not about sitting back and waiting for fate to deliver. It was about aligning thought with deliberate effort, ensuring that mindset and action moved in the same direction. Epictetus took a more grounded approach. He taught that external events are beyond our control, but how we respond to them shapes our reality. He saw that those who believe they can simply attract what they want without engagement are missing the point. The subconscious plays a crucial role in shaping outcomes, but it responds to repetition, discipline, and behavior, not just positive thinking. If you train yourself to expect opportunity, you will be more likely to notice it. If you reinforce a growth mindset, you will persist where others quit. But these results are not handed out. They are earned. Modern psychology confirms this. Cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, and neuroscience. Studies show that while thoughts do influence perception, they only lead to transformation when combined with action. The reticular activating system, errors in the brain, filters information based on what we focus on, meaning that if we prime our minds for success, we are more likely to recognize opportunities when they appear. But without effort, these opportunities remain just that, possibilities rather than realities. So how can the law of attraction actually work? First, shift from passive visualization to active mental conditioning. Instead of just imagining success, pair it with concrete plans. If you visualize yourself achieving a goal, ask yourself, what action can I take today to move closer to this reality? Second, align daily habits with desired outcomes. If you want to become a confident speaker, don't just think about it. Practice speaking even in small ways every day. Third, reinforce belief through action. The mind accepts what is repeatedly experienced. Confidence, discipline, and success are not just thoughts. They are habits. Marcus Aurelius trained his mind not to expect outcomes, but to prepare for them. Seneca knew that attraction without action was empty. Epictetus believed that change comes from engagement with life, not from waiting for it to unfold perfectly. The law of attraction works only when paired with work. The real formula is simple: focus, act, repeat. The mind is powerful, but only when you give it a reason to be. The universe may not hand you success, but when you align thought with action, you create the conditions for success to find you the conscious-subconscious connection, using it to your advantage. The mind operates on two levels, the conscious and the subconscious. The conscious mind is what you actively think with. It is logical, analytical, and aware. It makes plans, sets goals, and engages in problem solving. But beneath the surface, the subconscious mind is always at work, shaping your habits, emotions, and automatic reactions. It is vast, powerful, and deeply influential, yet most people never deliberately engage with it. Those who learn to bridge the gap between these two levels of thinking unlock a profound advantage. They become architects of their own mindset rather than prisoners of old conditioning. One of the most fascinating aspects of the subconscious mind is how it delivers insights when you are not actively searching for them. This is why the best ideas often come when you are relaxed while taking a shower, going for a walk, or just before falling asleep. The conscious mind, when too focused, can become rigid, blocking creative problem solving. But when the mind is allowed to drift, the subconscious takes over, connecting ideas in unexpected ways. Thomas Edison, Salvador Dali, and even Marcus Aurelius understood this, deliberately using moments of relaxation to allow deeper thoughts to emerge. Marcus Aurelius wrote about the importance of reflection, engaging in deep thought, but also allowing space for clarity to arise naturally. He understood that wisdom does not come from forcing thoughts, but from giving the mind time to process, connect, and interpret information. His nightly meditations were a way to engage both the conscious and subconscious, ensuring that his mind was not just reacting to the day, but actively learning from it. Seneca saw that overloading the mind with excessive worry, distractions, or meaningless concerns weakens its ability to process important information. He believed in mental minimalism, removing unnecessary noise so that the subconscious could work efficiently. He advised that those who constantly fill their minds with trivial distractions, whether gossip, excessive entertainment, or unfiltered media, clog their ability to think deeply. To him, a sharp mind is one that is given space to reflect, observe, and connect ideas without constant interruption. Epictetus viewed self-awareness as the bridge between the conscious and subconscious. He taught that people who act purely on impulse are controlled by unconscious patterns. They never question. Those who train themselves to observe their reactions, rather than just experiencing them, gain access to deeper self-mastery to him. The subconscious does not dictate fate. It simply follows whatever conditioning it receives. If it is shaped by fear and negativity, it reinforces those patterns. But if it is trained through discipline and conscious intent, it becomes an engine for growth, resilience, and wisdom. Modern neuroscience confirms what the Stoics intuitively understood: the default mode network, DMN in the brain, active during moments of rest, plays a key role in problem-solving, creativity, and emotional regulation. Studies show that stepping away from active thinking, allowing thoughts to settle, engaging in deep reflection, or practicing mindfulness leads to breakthrough insights and clearer decision-making. The subconscious mind is always processing, but it needs the right conditions to work effectively. So how do you use this connection to your advantage? First, create space for your mind to work. Moments of silence, reflection, and mental stillness allow the subconscious to organize information and present solutions. Second, feed your subconscious the right material. What you read, watch, and engage with daily becomes the raw material. For your deeper thoughts, choose wisely. Third, engage in active self-awareness. Question automatic reactions, notice patterns in your thinking, and be deliberate about the beliefs you reinforce. Marcus Aurelius trained his mind through reflection. Seneca practiced mental discipline to ensure clarity. Epictetus understood that self-awareness is the key to subconscious mastery. Your mind is always working, always shaping the reality you experience. The real question is, are you using this power with intention, or are you letting it operate on autopilot? The choice, as always, is yours. Your subconscious mind is not just a passive background process. It is the silent architect of your reality. It absorbs everything. You expose it to reinforcing habits, shaping beliefs, and guiding decisions long before you consciously realize it. Those who fail to recognize this live on autopilot, reacting to thoughts they never chose, held back by patterns they never questioned. But those who take control of their subconscious gain an extraordinary advantage.